Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you're doing fantastic out there. I've got an interesting video for you today. We're going to talk about another Olight product today. This is the Odin GL M model. I'm very happy and pleased to announce the arrival of this light. It is fantastic. Now, I've been playing with this thing for a while off camera, and I had to put it all back in the box so I could show you what's in the package. But all I'm going to say is this is a very nice light. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll take a look at the back of the packaging here. So feel free to pause your screen if there's any information here that you want to hang on to. There's all the specifications of the light. And of course the contact information for Olight. To open this up, we're just going to push from the bottom and we'll pull this top off. We'll set that aside. I want to say thank you to Olight right off the bat for sending this out for review. This is a very nice light. You open the package and it says, "Thank you for being a part of our Olight family. Your support is why we do this. Enjoy." Nice little touch from the Olight team. And then of course you see this yellow card like many flashlights. It talks about the insulation film, that you'll need to remove that before you use the light. Talks a little bit about putting a mechanical lock and the slide rail system on there. And then of course it talks briefly about the pressure switch, the remote magnetics switch. So very cool. So we'll pull that out of the way. There is a first look at the light. We'll set that aside for just a quick second. Obviously we're going to get right back to that. So we'll pull this foam out, and the next thing that you see is this little card. We'll pull this card out, and right here we have a little box, and there's a few items in this box. Let's go ahead and open that up and see what is included here. So the first thing that we see is an MCC3 magnetic charging cable. It's got USB on one end, MCC3 on the other end. So this will charge at 1 amp, 1.5 amp, or 2 amp, depending on what light you plug it into. So very nice. This gives us the option to charge this light in many different places. Now the next thing that we see here in this little bag, this is going to be a weapon mount. So very cool. We can see that the light will slide in, and it also has the little set screws. So if you wanted to lock that down, you could. I thought that was a really nice option that they included this with the Odin. Next thing we see here is a bag. There's a couple tools in there. You got 2 Allen wrenches. One of them is for mounting or tightening these little screws right here. And the other Allen wrench is for making adjustments on the flashlight itself. And then of course there's some extra screws and stuff like that. So very nice that they include that. And the next thing that we see here is the new upgraded remote magnetic locking pressure switch. So now you can see that we have options for low or high. So this is very nice. SROD7. Very nice build there. This will pop right onto a Picatinny rail, and it fits very nice. So very cool. I like that. And then of course we have some little black zip ties for cable management. There's 2 of those. Very cool that they include those with the light. And then of course down below, pull that foam out, we look inside, we see one more thing right there, and that is the user manual for this light. There's a little detailed mount telling you about the light itself, and it shows you that M-LOK Rail mount that I showed you just a second ago. Very cool. Talks about taking the insulation film out. Light is powered by a 21700 cell. It does have a vibrating power level indicator, so in the event that your battery starts to drop, it'll vibrate. So feel free to read that if you wish. Then of course our MCC3, as always, it will turn red when charging and green when charging is complete. Very cool. Now there's a little bit of information about the M-LOK. Very cool. How that all comes together. Very nice. I mean, these lights are fantastic, and they're doing great things on these lights. I like the remote switch. It's very nice because it locks into place, and the addition of low and high buttons on the pressure switch. I think that's wonderful. A little bit of safety information and stuff like that. I'm not going to spend too much time looking at that, but that is the gist of the owner's manual. There's a little bit about the instructions, how to operate the light and things like that. It's very basic, very simple, easy to operate light, very easy to understand. And there is a first look at the light. On the end here you can see we got to take off that little yellow part, so we'll pull that off, and that'll give us a nice clear view of the lens. You can see the reflector is smooth. It has a glass lens, and right below the LED there is the laser. This is a green laser. I think it's very cool that they integrate that in the head of the flashlight, and the head of the flashlight doesn't get real large. They kept the size of the light pretty much the same as what it's always been. Odin GL M. Very cool. Now you got a couple set screws right here. Remember I told you a second ago about the Allen wrench. These set screws adjust the laser, so if you need to make any kind of adjustments, it's using those set screws. So you can actually sight this in. I like the strike bezel. Very nice. I mean, they just keep raising the bar on these lights. So we're going to unthread the tail cap switch. We're going to get rid of that insulation film. And you can see the construction of the tail cap switch is very nice. Let's pull out that insulation film. And while we're here, we'll take a quick look at the battery. This is a standard 21700 that they use. And I don't mean standard as in non-proprietary. This is an Olight proprietary battery. 5,000 milliamp hour capacity. So there's the positive there that I showed just a second ago. And the negative. So very similar to the battery that we've always seen. Looking inside the battery tube, it's a very clean build. You can see the thickness of the battery tube is very nice and thick. And then we'll insert the battery by putting the positive towards the head of the light. And then of course we'll thread on the tail cap switch, and as we go over this O-ring, we will establish an IPX4 rating. Now I would normally say IPX8, but this light has different settings that change up here, so it limits our IPX rating down to 4. Now this light has a couple different ways to operate. If you look here, you see light only. This is light with laser, and this is laser only. So if we use the tail cap switch and we just kind of half press, if we hold, we'll have momentary, or if we deep press, we have momentary. And then we let off, and again, like I say, that's momentary. But if we half press and let go, we have a constant on, or if we deep press, we have a constant on. So we have a couple of options with that tail cap switch. But let's go ahead and put it on low for a second. We're going to talk about this. This is 300 lumens, and this will last for 6.5 hours if the laser is off. So if we're dealing with only light, okay, low is 6.5 hours at 300 lumens, and it'll give us 95 meters of throw. Very, very nice. Now if we deep press and we go to high, we're dealing with 1500 lumens. That is a very bright output. It'll last 2.5 minutes on this turbo, and then to prevent the overheating, it'll drop down to 550 lumens. It'll stay there for 168 minutes. That's 2.8 hours. And then after that, it does step down one more time, back down to low for 300 lumens for an additional 20 minutes. And when this thing is on high, as you see right here, we are cranking out 215 meters of throw. So it's a very, very good light. Now, if we turn the laser on by going to this setting, we will have light with laser. And let's go through low again. You see the little laser. Hopefully you can see that on some of the darker objects You see the little laser? Low is still 300 lumens, but instead of 6.5 hours, we're only going to get 6 hours now because we have the laser operating as well. Still going to get 95 meters of throw, still the same brightness. And then the same kind of thing applies when we go to high. We have 1500 lumens, 2.5 minutes of runtime, then it drops down to 550 lumens, and then it'll stay there for 155 minutes. A little bit less time than what the time was without the laser. That's 2.58 hours. We still get 215 meters of throw, so that doesn't change. And then, of course, it will step down one more time down to low, 300 lumens for an additional 15 minutes. Now, the candela rating on this high setting is 11,556 candela. That's very impressive. This light is IPX4 and it's impact resistant down to 1.5 meters. So if you drop this, it's no problem. Now we can rotate this over one more time and we can get laser only. Now there's no high or low. It's just on or off with the laser. Okay, you do have kind of a momentary laser, or you can just turn the laser on. So it's nice having the momentary or the constant on with the laser. Now the length of the light, let me turn that off. This is 149 millimeters long. That's 5.87 inches. The diameter of the light would be at the widest point right here. This is 29 millimeters or 1.14 inches. The weight of the light, it's not that heavy. It's 224 grams or 7.9 ounces. And that weight is with the battery. This is a beautiful light. I love the way they did this. The head of the light got a little warm while I was doing that. Let's talk about the pressure switch here. This is magnetic, and you can see right here it says push and it says pull. See right there it says push to lock, pull to unlock. So we'll push that up. Now this is locked onto the light. And now the new pressure switch gives us two options. It gives us low. Well, I'm on laser. Let's get over to light here. I'm on low right there. Very nice. Or high. Very nice. And then of course you can do a momentary with the pressure switch on high or low, or you can turn it on and off. So you can do the same things with this pressure switch that you can do with the tail cap switch. So I love the changes that they made on this pressure switch. You have momentary or constant, and you can do that with low or high. Very, very cool. I think they hit a home run on this light. Fantastic job that they did on this one. That is actually more water than this thing is supposed to withstand. That's actually sprays light jets of water. But we're going to check this IPX4 rating out. So let's deep press. You can see that everything looks pretty good. Looks like it's functioning fine. Let's go ahead and switch on over and get that laser on there. So you got the low light with the laser. Everything's working just fine. You got the high light with the laser. And then again, let's just immerse this thing a little bit. We're really testing and pushing that IPX4 rating pretty good. Now here's the laser itself. So there we go. I just had to click that button. There was nothing wrong with the light. I just had to click it into position. But I really like this. And like I said, this test that I did just now was actually more than IPX4. It's closer to 5. Looking at low. Very nice. So we are dealing with just the light right now. Let's go ahead and bump it up to high. That's what high looks like. So very nice pattern. And if we turn the light off, I'll put it to light with laser. So now we have light with laser and we are on low. You can see the laser right in the center of the screen there. So that's kind of cool. Follow that laser around. And then let's go on high and see what the high looks like. Can we see the laser? We can barely see it. At least I can barely see it. I think the video probably shows it pretty good, but there's the laser with the high setting. Now, it might get dark, but I'm going to go to laser only. And there's a look at the laser down the way. Very nice. You can see that, very nice. Oh, that laser is fantastic. I like this. This is very cool. I'm really happy that Olight did this. This thing is very nice. I like it on low because you can really see that laser good. But even on high, with my eyes, I can see that laser real well. It's just, I'm not sure how good the camera is picking it up. This is a fantastic light. I hope you enjoyed those night shots. Well, folks, my final thoughts are very simple. I think Olight hit a home run with this Odin GL M model. I just love it. This thing is fantastic. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and those night shots. This thing has a lot of throw to it, 215 meters. If you think about that, that's like 2 football fields. And that's going to be mounted on your weapon. This is just fantastic. I want to say thank you for stopping by today and joining me on this video. Please feel free to leave your comments down below, like this video, share this video, and until next time, have a beautiful day. We'll see you then. Bye for now.